Hi, 안녕하세요. 저는 싱어송라이터 이진아입니다. 반가워요.
And I'm Simon Petrén, Swedish producer and songwriter.
Random, just a little, random, just a little.
She's a genius too, obviously. He's like a genius as well.
Her
voice!
Oh!
I really like how this is mixed. It sounds really good.
저는 어릴 때부터 피아노를 그냥 쳤고요. 어릴 때 한 3, 4살 때 쳤고 계속 학교는 서울예술대학교를 다녔어요. 그래서 거기서 피아노 전공, 재즈 피아노를 전공을 했고 작곡은 중학교 때 처음 만들어 봤어요. 처음 그냥 재밌는 노래들, 뭐 떡볶이송이라던가 나의 왕자님은 어디 있을까라던가 그런 노래들부터 만들면서 교회 반주하면서 피아노, 재즈 피아노 관심 가지면서 그렇게 음악을 계속 했던 것 같아요.
Simon, what's your story?
I have 2 brothers and 5 sisters, so I grew up always listening to them practicing piano when I was little. So I had like this piano training in my body when I grew up. So when I was like 6, 7, I also started this like finger piano playing. I was taking lessons from the organist in the church, basically. So he taught me piano for a while, and then my piano skill got better. So like in 6th grade, my technique kind of equaled his technique-wise.
Whoa, his power just shot higher than mine!
So I had to go over to organ and play like organ. So I started using the feet instead. Eventually, I went 2 years for this like pre-university training thing we have in Sweden, and was training both jazz piano and classical piano. And then I actually ended up taking this music and media production university course for 4 years. 3 years. And there I just picked as much piano education as I could. So I picked like a classical professor. He was a jazz professor, but he had like really good classical skill. So it suited me perfectly. So I could like nerd about like different finger like strings and stuff, which might get looked over in jazz sometimes when you look more about scales and harmony and feeling, but you don't have maybe the ultimate classical like finger strength.
It's all about finger strength, baby.
And then like of course I've been playing in like band and like church and playing gospel piano and got a lot of just influences from everywhere.
All right, so let's start talking about your time together as writers. What was your first session like writing together, and how have your writing sessions developed from that first time until now?
처음 우리가 만든 게 밤과 별의 노래 Starry Night
Right.
song. 그게 몇 살이었죠? 몇 년도죠?
2016 maybe?
그때 처음 만났는데 사이먼이랑 기타리스트 안드레아스 오버그랑 같이 3명이서 같이 작곡을 했는데 이렇게 다른 나라 사람이랑 곡을 쓰는 건 처음이었어요. 그래서 겁이 났었고, 겁이라기보단 언어가 잘 통할까 너무 이제 조금 설레기도 하고 겁도 나고 그랬었는데 생각보다 멜로디가 공용어잖아요. 그래서 잘 됐었고 혼자 만들 때 고민하던 선택하는 문제가 셋이 만드니까 이거 좋다 굿 막 계속 굿 많이 말하면서 금방금방 곡이 만들어졌는데 곡이 정말 마음에 들었어요. 그래서 너무너무 행복했어요.
We didn't have a translator. I think we had an A&R who like helped us get started, but then I think they on intention just left, because if you have a translation step it's going to slow down. It's better we just talk with nice, not nice, you know. You don't need much more than like a thumb up and down when you make music anyway. But I remember SM asked us for like, make sure you preserve her like originality, because she was like a feature on the song. So I had to like research who is this, let's not destroy this girl, you know. So I stayed up all night before the session and looked through like all the auditioning and like watched the documentary and like the hard time in school, and like also checking out the releases she did after was more pop. So we had like a good understanding of what to do when we were in the session. So I think that helped when we actually worked to like preserve that like amazing audition impression, you know.
When it comes to Random or writing a song that is deeply rooted in a certain concept or message, do you still start the music from scratch? Or, Jinah, do you ever go into a session and find a way to tell who you are writing with, this is the message, let's write the song around these lyrics?
약간 사이먼이랑 같이 작업할 수 있는 기회가 되게 흔치 않고 중요한 날이라고 생각을 해서 좀 어떤 곡을 만들어야 후회가 없을까, 좋을까 이렇게 생각을 해서 좀 미리 어떤 걸 만들지 살짝의 디자인을 했었어요. 그리고 랜덤이라는 주제는 평소에 이제 습작을 했을 때 사실 다른 노래가 있었어요. 다른 랜덤이라는 제가 혼자 그냥 썼던 어떤 게 있었는데 뭔가 편견에 대한 고민을 하다가 랜덤을 하면 편견이 없어지겠다 뭐 이런 식으로 곡을 썼는데 사이먼이랑 만들다가 이게 랜덤으로 이거 가져와서 그냥 쓰면 되겠다 해서 주제는 그렇게 가져왔고 네, 조금 살짝 내가 원하는 것을 사이먼은 다 할 수 있는 마법사니까 다 그렇게 말씀을 드렸어요. 그리고 이제 랜덤은 약간 그 스마일 약간 웃고 앵그리 스마일 앵그리 스마일 앵그리 이렇게 그림을 그려서 설명을 드렸어요.
Can you play the examples of which parts of the songs were the smiley faces and which were the frowny faces?
In Random. Let's share the screen. Angry and smiley. I guess, let's see.
Smiley.
스마일? 네. 앵그리.
Angry. And,
Okay.
right. I guess
그냥
middle.
미들
So it's like mixing the happy and sad parts. I guess we try to fetch references, like listening to a lot of jazz, and I try to bring in some pop, because like when I go to a label, I try to bring something from my expertise and mix with the expertise they have, and they have like Jinah's crazy eye jazz expertise. So then I might need to counterweight it with some pop to make it like I don't know, more like a fusion product. It's always more interesting than like going full jazz or full pop. Usually it's good to fusion a bit.
When writing Random, Jinah brought the jazz and then Simon kind of infiltrated it with some pop. I'm also aware that Jinah, you like writing very cute moments and adding kind of like a toy-like quality to your songs, while Simon likes to bring in some Christmas elements, some orchestral elements. Are there any of those moments in here specifically?
Oh yeah, I mean,
아마 세이먼
everywhere.
찾아줄 거예요.
but
The chimes, once
but
again.
it's like it's like super. It's like Christmas. And the whole vocal thing is. Let's see. So this we actually made on piano first, just the sketch, because it's hard to just imagine that with voices in one go. It's like the sketch. You know? And then you mute the old white man here. And then you have fresh Jinah on piano. That's cute to me. And then it goes completely opposite to the evil part. I mean, we're making a mini cute part before this because it's kind of low here. You have drums, you have the bass, so when you go into the chorus, you're gonna be too similar. So we need to make a small rest and lift everything up, like a mini cute here. Everything moves up. Try to be dynamic.
A question that I've been waiting to ask you guys since the very first time that I heard Random is the evil part. Are those notes truly random? Because I remember when my full musician crew reacted to it, some people thought that it came from improv. Some people thought that you specifically chose those notes and it's actually a reverse melody of a different part of the song. What is it?
사도 보이싱? 이런 거? 사도?
Whenever you use a fourth voicing, it's like this organized chaos, so you can move it around everywhere, right? And it still makes some kind of sense because you keep the formation, right?
이 코드가 살짝 좀 감정적으로 뭔가 좀 밝지도 않고 어둡지도 않은 딱 중간의 코드 느낌이잖아요. 그래서 이거를 이제 유니즌으로 하고 살짝 크로매틱을 넣어가지고 약간 멜로딕하지 않으면서 좀 화날 수 있는 걸 어떻게 하면 좋을까 해서 밑에서 다다다다 치고 힘있게 치고 또 만들면서 이렇게 미디 노트로 녹음한 다음에 들어보면서 또 고치고 사이먼이랑 같이 이렇게 골라봤었던 것 같아요.
But is it random or design?
네, 약간 랜덤하게 하면 되겠다 이게 좀 끼워 맞춘 느낌으로.
Probably a little bit random, yeah. Because if it was, then it's like predictable, right? So you kind of want to move it.
푸 보이싱, 사도 보이싱이랑 크로매틱.
Alright, so before we fully move on to Dreamy Alarm, were there any other details of Random that none of your fans had pointed out any details of that you wanted to talk about?
누구든 상관없이
Yeah, I love Candy.
저 진행은 사이먼이 했는데 너무 좋았어요.
Maybe. It's hard to remember because we have like two pianos connected all the time and just put in stuff. It's hard to know who played what in the end, but yeah.
사이먼이 이렇게 엇박을 되게 좋아하는 것 같아요. 으따바바바바바바.
Yeah. But I mean, Jinah is a better piano player, so I might make an idea like it's boring and then you like change it to like real jazz, you know?
사이먼이랑 하면은 제 목소리가 더 믹스가 뭔가 되게 좋게 돼서 코러스 같은 것도 더 좋게 되는 것 같고 뭔가 더 듣기가 좋아지는 느낌도 있었고 또 항상 코러스를 4트랙씩 똑같은 음을 항상 녹음하는 것도 저한테는 되게 신선한 경험이었어요.
Simon, do you have any tricks for when recording Jinah to make her voice pop out a lot more and make sure that those backing vocals are very clear in the mix?
There's nothing special for Jinah, but basically, if you think about frequencies, you can see the screen, right? You have the low. You have the low frequencies, and you have like the mid and the high. I think everyone grasped this kind of EQ sense. This is like bass voice, and this is middle voice, and this is like high voice. If you paint like female voice, it's going to be a lot of mid-range frequency like this. If you keep recording background vocals with the same kind of voice and the same kind of EQ, you're going to stack up this mid-range frequency. You're going to get like a telephone party in the end. So what I like to do is I keep this kind of feeling reserved for the lead vocal. That's kind of punchy. You have a lot of mid frequencies. But then for the background vocal, I try to scoop out so they fill the other space like this. Right? And then you can do a lot of it. Because the annoying part is going to be when they stack up here. I mean, for the plugins I put on the, it's going to look like this. It's going to scoop out, especially like 3K. 3K is where the ear is most sensitive, is where the baby screams. So you want to take away the babies from all the background vocal. Literally, because in the ear, you know, when you blow a bottle, you get this noise. When you put more and more water, you get a higher note, right? In the ear, you have this resonating cylinder who resonates at 3K. So literally every sound that comes in is going to be resonating a little bit more at 3K. So you have to like balance that out. So I kill it completely. It's like, yeah, 20, 30 dB, just kill it.
And for that chorus there, it felt like it was also super hard pan left and right.
Always hard left and right because you don't want anything to compete with the lead vocal, really. It's pretty common people like pan dubs and stuff towards the center, but I just hate it. I just keep everything super wide. And then I can use like an instrument. I can make the most complex chord, and it's always going to be like fluffy and nice, like a string orchestra basically. And not sound like 3 violins in the middle, you know, grinding.
Yeah, yeah. Can we hear more of the final chorus background vocals?
Random, just a little. Random, just a little. Just a little. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Ho, ho, ho.
이니 미니 마이니 모 사이먼스 아이디어.
That's my favorite tool to use. Instead of like adding more instruments, I prefer to add vocals as an instrument because that's like always unique. If you add another pad, you know, it's not that unique. But if you use the vocal like an instrument, you're gonna get something really cool.
되게 그 4개씩 하는 게 되게 힘들면서 재밌어요. 그래서 계속 끊지도 않고 띠띠띠 계속 틀어주면 저는 로봇처럼 하하하하하 계속 똑같이 하는 게 저는 그게 제가 작업할 때 재밌더라고요.
It's always a battle in the sessions. Like, I know we could record vocals for 8 hours, and they are gonna be happy after 8 hours, but like for 7 hours and 59 minutes, they're gonna like, keep getting more and more like irritated at me, like spending time, 4 takes, like, you know, just copy this, just, you know, just stop it, add a reverb instead, you know. But I don't think I've met anyone who actually hated me after it's done, you know. So I just try to measure how much I can push into the arrangement because it's so fun.
재밌어요.
Right. When you write these out and then give it to the studio musicians to play, is it always they just play what's exactly on the sheet music, or do they have creative freedom as well?
For Random,
Yeah.
there are no studio musicians.
Oh, very good drumming.
So the bass is MIDI, right? The drums are programmed.
That's
the
a
piano
really
is-
good drum sound.
We just did it together and like listen to jazz and try to make it really nice.
What about Dreamy Alarm?
There we had a different process. We made similar thing. We made everything first. I exported like stems so they could mute the bass, they could mute the drums, and have like a click track. And they performed it again with the trio. And then I got the trio performance back and like put it back and like mixed.
나만의 세계에 빠지는 곳.
Jinah, I heard that you wrote Dreamy Alarm after hearing Shake It Off. And you wanted to recreate that kind of uplifted, hopeful, encouraging vibe. What instrumental were you leaning towards after having that idea that you wanted something to be encouraging and hopeful and uplifting?
일단은 제가 노래들이 거의 다 미디엄 템포 노래들이 정말 많아요. 그래서 공연을 할 때도 느린 거 아니면 미디엄밖에 없더라고요. 그래서 신나는 거를 만들고 싶어서 만들었는데 나한테 있어서 신나는 거는 요 정도가 또 신나는 거구나라고 생각도 들었고, 그리고 그 약간 이렇게 좀 두드리고 그냥 일상생활에서 제 퍼커션으로 쓸 수 있는 것들을 이용해서 해보고 싶었어요. 막 그냥 뭔가 좀 어쿠스틱하면서 그런 걸 해보고 싶어서 사이먼이랑 이렇게 책상도 두드리고 펜으로도 막 두드리고 하면서 리듬을 신나게 먼저 만들려고, 좀 템포도 좀 높아야 신나기도 하고요. 그래서 좀 그렇게 처음에 디자인을 살짝 해서 가져갔던 것 같아요.
This cup thing you showed me.
컵송.
I don't even know it. You know,
Oh,
that
Pitch
cup thing.
Perfect!
Maybe?
I got my ticket for the long way round.
Probably the inspiration for this. Like moving cups. Right? It says guiro here. I guess we used the guiro. That's this like shape, this thing.
예.
Do you remember?
야야야.
I don't remember.
가지고 있었던 귀로 악기가 있었는데.
Guiro, oh. So that's that. And then it says cup. I don't know.
뭐였을까?
Just says
저
no idea.
오래돼서 4년
It says
전이라 기억이 잘 안 나지만.
here it also says actually guiro. So it's the same, but you can see I added all of the bass to get it to kick drum. Without it, it's just like a
살짝
pretty weak.
어쿠스틱한 리듬을 만들고 싶었어요.
So we beefed it up. Now we have a kick.
How did you approach this recording session, Jinah? Did you just come into the studio with Simon Petrén and just showed him like all the cups and pens and how did it start off?
그때는 사이먼이 저희 회사 녹음실에 와주셨어요. 그쵸? 그래서 막 사이먼이 컴퓨터를 들고 이렇게 와주셨고 제가 그때 당시 안테나 사무실의 작업실을 쓰고 있어서 거기에 있는 제 악기들과 뭐 또 책상 뭐 거기서 보이는 걸로 했어요.
How much time do you spend when creating this kind of acoustic beat with so many different sounds? How much time do you spend deciding where to pan it specifically?
Isn't it all left, right, as usual? Or center? No, look at this. It's like...
It's just left or right.
Basically, I'm a left-right guy. I don't usually put a lot of stuff between. I'm sorry, like whenever I teach for students, they're like, how do you do secret panning? I was like, there is no panning. It's like center, 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 left, right.
And so how many of these sounds are actually recorded live versus taken from like a sample library?
As we said before, for this one, I made like a full demo first before the trio recorded. So I guess maybe that's it. And then they record live drums, you know, sounds like this. That's acoustic. For me, this is like too organic. It's like too like 1960s jazz. I need more punchy sound. So I actually delete this kick. I mute it. So basically I only have like the overheads and the closed mics, but no kick really. You can either kick a little bit from the overhead, but you don't have this punchy kick, right? I mute that, and I bring back my drums from the demo. So you have punchy and the live playing together. For the bass part, this is the original bass, my MIDI bass, and then this is the real recording. You can see in some spots I actually muted him and kept some of the original like MIDI thing, so we mix it. So like the original bass sounds like this. Right? And then he recorded this. It sounds better. It's like a real bass and it's real feeling, you know? But then sometimes when I really like the original idea, let's see here. Like this big slide, it really was, let's see what he did. He just timed it differently, so it didn't really lift the way we intended. So instead of just trying to fix that note, I just kept the original. And no one can really tell, you know, when you mix them. You know, in the mix. And then back to his bass, you know. And then in the end as well, we had like a little bit, let's see here. Real, fake.
Whoa!
It's a little bit of like Dirt Lips madness here.
베이스를 진짜 잘 쳐요, 건반으로. 베이스를 진짜
So that's fine.
완전 마법사 같아요, 진짜.
It's not a question of skill or performance, it's just whatever like suited the arrangement best. Like, yeah.
Speaking of adding in delays, can we go through? Because it sounds like Jinah's voice in this song often switches between completely dry and an added delay. So when do you decide to add that in?
My vocal mixing is pretty basic. Usually I have one stereo delay, which is not super bright. Sounds like... Yeah, usually a fourth and eighth, maybe. Sync to the tempo. And this, I don't need to sidechain it because per definition it's coming later in the vocal, so it's not really clouding the vocal as much. But the reverb, on the other hand, that's like a long tail. So if I have no effects, let's see here. It's kind of interesting. Now it's too much bathroom for me. It's like same time as the vocal, you have a big chunk of bathroom every time. I don't like the bathroom. So first of all, I want to take away the low frequencies from this reverb. If I exaggerate the volume a little bit of this reverb, you can hear the bathroom.
이 밤이 썰미 머리 감을 거야 지금
Usually around the melody point, you want to cut it out. So
눈을 크게 뜨고 몸을 일으켜 봐봐
that's like the bathroom frequency, which you take away.
새로운 날이 시작했어
So now it's a fresh bathroom, right? But you still want to duck it whenever she sings to make it more dry. And then when she stops singing, it's coming back up. So that's just the sidechain processor here. So every time she sings, you can see the red color here. It's going to push it down like 12 dB.
밤이 썰레 레미 밤이 썰미
Plus the delay.
머리 감을 거야 지금 눈을 크게
That's basically what I do for every song, like 99%. And usually background harmonies I have bone dry. Because if you change like chromatically, you can't have that reverb like masking the next chromatic. It might work diatonically, but not in this like jazz context. So I just keep it dry as like a super dry synth, and then the lead vocal can keep their effects. And then you can hear this is the fluffy part, and then if I add the lead vocal, it's going to be the punchy mid frequencies. So but imagine the harmony sounding like the lead vocal, it would sound like, you know, something else. This I would plan on the MIDI keyboard for sure to get like nice voicings.
Yeah, how was this recording session for you, Jinah, with all these extremely stacked harmonies and how your voice had to act like as if it was its own instrument with all these layers?
이때가 제 기억으로는 완전히 새벽이었던 것 같거든요. 이게 송캠프를 했을 때 사이먼이랑 걸그룹 노래를 만들어 보자고 해서 일단은 그 아이돌 노래를 만들고 그 다음날인지 그 전날인지 제 노래를 만들어야 돼가지고 그런 영향도 살짝 있었던 것 같아요. 그래서 막 약간 내 노래인데 살짝 아이돌스러운 그런 느낌의 멜로디였던 것 같기도 하고 그런 느낌이 살짝 영향이 있었던 것 같고 그리고 또 이거 녹음할 때는 너무 밤이어서 진짜 거의 자면서 우우 이렇게 했었던 것 같아요.
It turned out really beautiful. From your very first time writing together until now, are there things that you have learned from each other as musicians and as writers and you've started to include in your own releases separate from working from each other?
저 진짜 사이먼이랑 같이 작업하면서 엄청 많이 배웠고 코러스 녹음이라던가 디자인들도 더 사이먼이랑 한 이후로 좀 더 풍부하게 할 수 있었던 것 같아요. 하면 더 할 수 있겠지. 조금 더 이렇게 하면 더 잘 되겠지 하는 그런 게 생긴 것 같아요. 사이먼이랑 작업한 이후로.
More is good. What about you, Simon?
Probably subconsciously, anytime you work with like a really good artist, like Jinah or Dirty Loops, you just keep picking up subconsciously stuff, and then it pours out when you compose other songs. And then suddenly you realize, oh, I cannot do this for EXO. It's like too much Jinah. I have to like take some stuff away, you know? Like, so you need to fit it for the right artist. But yeah, it's just this like massive inspiration.
Can you please introduce what you are about to perform?
우리 Dreamy Alarm 할 거예요. 같이 둘이서. 사이먼이랑 라이브는 처음이에요. 그쵸?
First time
First
playing live.
time playing.
Okay.
오케이. 할 수 있겠죠?
일어나 나 알람 밤이 fat솔레 음악 들으면서 화장하기 책 한 권 골라서 들고 가방에다 넣고서 시간 남을 때 읽으면 재밌어요. I know, I know, I know. 매일 다른 하늘 구경할 거야. 가끔 난 골목길 걸어가기 버스 정류장도 지나 나만의 세계에 빠지는 걸 상상을 하는 중엔 아름다워 보이는 걸. 가끔 난 너의 오늘 잠속에서 행복하게 깨워주고 봐. 나만의 세계에 빠지는 걸 상상을 하는 중엔 아름다워 보이는 걸. 나만의 세계에 빠지는 걸 상상을 하는 중엔 아름다워 보이는 걸.
All right, let's end this video, please, with do you have a message for your listeners and fans? I know it's been a while since we've seen Jinah perform live. Do you have any encouraging message for them or what you are looking forward to next year?
ReacttotheK 보면서 저도 너무 감사했고 되게 신선한 경험이었고 더 열심히 해야겠다 생각이 들었거든요. 저희 더 열심히 음악 할 테니까 관심 많이 가져주시고 올해 남은 올해도 행복하게 보내시고 내년도 저희 다 같이 행복하게 잘 살았으면 좋겠어요. 감사합니다.
Yeah, same for me. Just thanks to ReacttotheK for doing this interviews and like react to the videos and making us musicians think about what we put in. It's inspiring. And yeah, thank everyone in the world.